Hello everyone, my name is Agent Paul of MTF Delta 7, codename Bookkeepers, and welcome back to another SCP document review. And the SCP we will be reviewing today is SCP-8144. Level 2, Restricted. Containment Class, Safe. Disruption Class, Ecce 4. Risk Class, Caution 2. Special Containment Procedures. Access to the exposed outcropping of SCP-8144 is to be blocked off, under the explanation that the area is geologically unstable, and thus poses a threat to human health. A small barbed wire fence has been constructed roughly 10 meters away from the outcropping to further deter entrance to the location. Security cameras have been installed around the perimeter to monitor for unauthorized access. This has been stricken from the containment procedures. However, due to SCP-8144's remote location, this is unlikely, and its containment is low priority. Update: November 14th, 2026. Monitoring of SCP-8144's containment is to be considered a high priority, due to risks posed to the Veil in the event that SCP-8144-1 is found by any unauthorized individual. 2 manned outposts have since been constructed along the fencing, and are to be staffed with 2 armed individuals, each to monitor the area and cameras. SCP-8144-1 is not to be removed from the site. Description: SCP-8144 is a 1.5 square kilometer layer of bioclastic limestone, roughly 5 meters thick. Discovered within the Tibetan Plateau on October 24, 2026, by Foundation personnel of the Department of Geology, during an unrelated preliminary field study, in which a 5 by 10 meter outcropping of SCP-8144 was located. It was determined to be of anomalous nature due to the means of its formation and the environment it was found in. Bioclastic limestones, also referred to as fossiliferous limestone or skeletal limestone, are sedimentary rocks typically characteristic of shallow marine depositional environments, formed when large amounts of calcium carbonate shells, corals, and other waste lithfits upon death. The process in which sediments under high pressure, usually from bodies of water, are compacted into solid rock. These layers of remains are hallmarked by their high concentration of still visible fossils. The geological layer surrounding the area SCP-8144 is located in shows no history of any sea transgression or regression, meaning that during the time that SCP-8144 was formed, the area was never underwater. Thus, it has been determined that it is impossible for SCP-8144 to have formed naturally. Investigation for other possible anomalous properties of SCP-8144 are ongoing. Addendum 8144.1. Chemical and compositional analysis of SCP-8144 has found that the calcium carbonate within it is composed entirely of human bones. Carbon dating to roughly 8,500 BCE. Upon further investigation, DNA analysis indicates thaumatological influence consistent with late Daevite imperial practices. As a result, the archaeological team was dispatched to further investigate SCP-8144 and its surroundings. An in-depth excavation of the site was undertaken on November 12, 2026. It led to the unearthing of various minor artifacts, broken spears, preserved cloth, armor shards, and traces of both Daevite and Sarkic activity within the area of SCP-8144. Most notably, there were a multitude of signs of failed Sarkic rituals, indicating that an unknown type of interference in the ability to utilize flesh crafting was occurring at the time. All objects were sent back to Foundation facilities for further study. On-site archaeologists began to theorize that SCP-8144 is the site of a large-scale battle between Daevite and Sarkic forces. Upon partial excavation of the outcropping, the archaeological team discovered the first fully intact lithified skeleton. All other bones that make up SCP-8144 have been fragments. These remains are theorized to be of a Daevite matriarch dressed in a heavy metal armor apparatus that has since fused to the bones. This armor holds a small limestone carved idol which was placed within the chest piece and connected to a series of runic lines. Despite the age of the skeleton and it being heavily fused to the surrounding strata, the armor and idol were perfectly preserved. Likely a thaumaturgical effect from runes and symbols carved into both the armor and idol itself. The idol is henceforth referred to as SCP-8144-1, a cylindrically carved piece of micritic limestone marked with Daevite symbology, which is not currently fully understood. The shape and manner of some carvings, however, have been compared to that of protective wards, specifically against flesh-crafting magics. Upon finding that it could be removed from the armor without damaging it, the idol was extracted for further study. On-site archaeologists reported the sensation of a hum in the air upon its removal, as well as, most notably, that the inscriptions upon the matriarch's armor began to glow and parts of the apparatus began to turn and shift. The description of a change in the air would remain even after departing the excavation site. Incident Report 8144.1. Post the retrieval of -1, all on-site archaeologists departed with the intention to return to the nearest site. After several hours, it was reported that one Dr. Dawa Kelsang, who, among other artifacts, had been transporting -1, had not returned. A Foundation search party was promptly dispatched. Dr. Kelsang's vehicle was found on the side of the road roughly half a kilometer from the excavation site, suffering damage from a head-on collision with a Thorold's deer. The deer head and antlers had pierced through the windshield, where one antler had impaled Dr. Kelsang through the chest and throat. Both individuals were found completely lithified. -1 was swiftly returned to the apparatus from which it was taken from. The reported hum in the air then ceased, and the armor apparatus ceased all activity. Approximately 15 other animal carcasses believed to have been deceased in recent times due to predation or natural causes were found similarly lithified. All remains were scattered out in a 1-kilometer radius surrounding the site. The fact that the affected area is smaller than that of SCP-8144 itself has been noted as odd. However, due to the placement of some found carcasses, it is believed that the area affected had moved slightly for the brief period it was taken off-site. It has since been theorized that the removal of -1 from the apparatus reactivated the same anomalous properties that had resulted in the creation of SCP-8144. While the effects upon the carcasses were not reversed upon the return of -1, no more were discovered during a 5-day survey period of the surrounding area, lending credence to the theory of activation. All lithified remains, including that of Dr. Kelsang's, were taken to the nearest Foundation site for further study. It should be noted that similar formations containing SCP-8144 have also been discovered at other sites throughout the Tibetan Plateau. See SCP-5140 for more information. And that is it. Interesting. It seems they were willing to lithify allies so that they themselves would not be turned with flesh-crafting magics. Interesting. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for listening or watching, and my name is Agent Paul of MTF Delta 7, and I'll see you next week with another document review. Bye.